Hi, my name's Jasmine Freya Clark. I am the author of The Magic Diary, which I'll be reading to you today. The Magic Diary is also available as a free PDF booklet, which you can download, and it's actually fillable, so you can use it for yourself. It's free and available at www.getresults.co. So, the introduction. Welcome to my world. It's an absolutely gorgeous place, full of magic, mystery, and miracles, but also its share of challenges, heartbreaks, and injustices. It's your world too, this planet, Earth. 2023 for me was a year of healing, reawakening, wondering, and discovery. It was also a year in which I did all I could think of for 12 months straight to get myself consistently out of bed, where I've worked from, eaten, and lived for the majority of the last decade. And yet I failed time and time again. Like all things in this perfectly imperfect world, I am a work in progress. I have my own personal challenges, namely a world which is not set up to either serve or properly care for those with neuroatypicality, gender atypicality, mental health atypicality, a suite of immune problems, skin problems, digestive problems, energy problems, chronic illnesses, disabilities, some with a medical diagnosis and official name, some without, some seemingly manageable, some with a mind of their own. Then there's the personal trauma, family trauma, cultural trauma, the social and economic costs of these, and just the everyday challenge of aiming to live right and pursue kindness, equity, and communal liberation in a world where the powers that be seem to have largely abandoned even the pretense of ethics and virtue in the barefaced pursuit of personal profit and short-term gain, actively willing to let the planet and most of its inhabitants, human or otherwise, literally burn so the self-chosen few can achieve their petty selfish goals. In the midst of this, I find great joy in life. There is magical strength in choosing to continue to work. There is magical strength in choosing to continue to connect and work with self, nature, and others, to do right as far as I can, despite the pain and discomfort and exhaustion of it all. There is healing, comfort, inspiration, joy, and renewal to be found every day as we choose right and attend to the right voices. As I write this, we've just passed day 75 of the second Nakba. Nakba is an Arabic word meaning the catastrophe, referring to Israel's intentional destruction of the Palestinian people, their land, and their culture. A genocidal land grab worth billions of dollars to Israel and their Western allies, including the UK, which has displaced almost 2 million living, breathing human beings, intentionally killed at least 20,000 of those human beings. This is 1% of that population, and this number rises daily, and maimed and physically and psychically injured countless others. This is one of a number of ongoing genocides, wars, and atrocities happening across our planet, alongside the pandemic, environmental, and social destruction wrought by the toxic transglobal philosophy that money is the greatest good, to be accumulated at all costs. I believe in a better world. I include these details here as they're important to me. I hope that the well-being of others, all others, is important to you too. There are no easy answers, but there are simple actions we can take each day, thus the formation of the Magic Diary. If you're here for a better life, for yourself, your loved ones, and for all of us, then please read on. With best wishes, Jazz, December 2023. How this diary works, how you can work this diary, and a note on accessibility. This diary is a tool, and as with all tools, it can be used well or poorly, towards genuinely good ends or towards something smaller, more selfish, and far less satisfactory. The diary will provide you with the same energy that you bring to it. If you read the principles in the following pages, then engage with the practice honestly, conscientiously, and consistently, it will produce life-changing results within 30 or so repetitions. But it needs you. Just like weightlifting, start small, moving within your capacity, and build from there. As you use the diary regularly and thoughtfully, your thinking and doing, attitudes and actions will naturally strengthen, build and develop incrementally, and you'll start to see the results in your life and You'll start to see the results in your life and the lives of those with whom you interact each day. I'd recommend using the Magic Diary at least 2 to 3 times a week, ideally daily. On average, it will only take about 10 minutes to work through the exercises, and the investment in terms of time and thought will be far outweighed by the huge changes you'll see in your life. Accessibility. I say on average, as this is my experience with those who face no barriers to reading and working with this kind of tool. But there will be many of us, myself included, who need a little more time and/or help in using the Magic Diary. To that end, I'm planning, once the booklet's finished, to create a short video, which you're watching now or listening to, where I talk through the booklet, reading these words and visually illustrating how to use the diary. I'd encourage you to check getresults.co for a link to the video once it's up, if this is something that would help you access this information. If you have any other accessibility needs, or there are any other ways in which I could modify this information to make it more accessible to you, do let me know. Again, getresults.co/contact. Which platform to use? Regarding formats, in my tests, there have been some problems with accessing the writable areas of this PDF diary when using mobile phones. For this reason, I'd encourage you to download the Magic Diary onto a PC and use it there, as this seems to be the stablest way to access it. If you have to or prefer to access the diary by phone, then read on. If your phone uses Android, then I recommend downloading the document, then opening it with Google Drive. The fillable areas should then be accessible. If your phone uses iOS, then just be aware that sometimes you may lose text if you write a lot of words. The only solution I have found to this so far is to keep it brief. Good luck. The principles. In this section, we outline each of the 5 practices in the Magic Diary, why each has been included, what they're here for, and how you can get the most from them in your daily practice. The 5 are meditation, advocacy, gratitude, intentions, and commitments. The practices are The practices are organized this way to make them accessible across a wide range of mental and emotional states, even if you're in pain, dysregulated, tired, mourning, angry, confused, or just feeling off. The sequence will help you open up a simple, soulful space where you can gently self-regulate or co-regulate if you're doing the practice collectively with others, and then have the time and space to feel out what's happening with you and how you can help yourself. You can then set how you want to move through the day and commit to some useful, helpful, restorative, and generative actions that are within your capacity to achieve. As stated in the previous section, this diary is a tool, and you'll get the very most from it when you engage thoughtfully and regularly, ideally daily, but otherwise recommended at least 2 to 3 times per week. Please make sure that you read all of the principles before attempting the practice of the Magic Diary. There's ancient and powerful magic here, and just as you'd learn how to safely use a power tool before handling it, you want to be properly prepared. Once you've read and reflected on the principles in the following chapters, you'll be ready to start transforming your world using the practice. If you're coming back to this section for a reminder of the principles, please find a summary below. However, please make sure you've read the full description of each of the principles on the following pages before you engage with the practice, as these guides will help you best prepare yourself for the power that awaits you as you journey through the next weeks and months to discover the riches and depths of meditation, advocacy, gratitude, intentions, and commitments. Summary of the principles. Meditation. You create specific qualities of your world through your focus. This is not a call to denial, selfishness, or a lack of empathy. Quite the opposite. It's a call to care, community, contribution, kindness, and compassion for yourself and all creatures. Advocacy. Too often, important voices are missed or dismissed. There's much to learn from these voices, and we ignore them at our peril. Self-advocacy calls us to listen to and meet with the small, near-silent voices within us, to attend to them with kindness and encouragement, thus preparing us to do the same in the world. Gratitude. To be grateful is to explode joy. First, we experience the thing itself, then we remember, rediscover, and notice anew the first explosion. When we then share this gratitude with others, verbally or through actions, we multiply the joy again. In this way, one seemingly tiny seed can spawn vast forests beyond our understanding. Intentions. Art is made great by its ability to speak, aesthetically, morally, spiritually, and by what it reveals to the viewer about themselves and the world around them. In the same way, you have the power to recreate your life as a work of art, not for the sake of vanity, but the sake of humanity, yours and ours. It's never too late. Recreate today. Commitments. Intentions require choice, whereas commitments use the palette of these choices to create and effect change in our lives and beyond. To commit is to decide on a specific action or course of actions and faithfully stick with it until the actions are completed, or you alter course towards a better course of actions. The key is to keep each day's actions doable and pointing in the direction of your greater goals. So the first practice, meditation. What? Meditation is an ancient practice, as old as humanity, almost as old as the hills, the trees, the rivers. Ever since humans have lost themselves in moon gazing, flame gazing, looking out over a gorgeous pastoral scene, or contemplating the far horizons of land or sea, meditation has existed. To meditate is to focus, to draw one's attention to something or nothing in particular, to engage, to be still, to reflect, to become so absorbed in a story, a scene, a thought, or a sensation that you temporarily lose your fixed sense of self, who you must be, and find yourself caught up in new possibilities, dreams, and reveries. To meditate is to open the eyes of your mind, to see and understand in transformative new ways. The specific kind of meditation we will be practicing is focused on goodwill or loving kindness, first to ourselves and our loved ones, then to those whose attitudes or actions we find challenging, then on to wishing goodwill to all the people of this world and all creatures everywhere. This kind of meditation was first seen in Hinduism, then formally developed in Buddhism, and is often known as metta meditation. Metta is a Pali word from mitra, which means friend. So metta is normally understood as loving kindness, such as a good friend provides. Practicing metta means to be benevolent. Let's try that again. Practicing metta means to be benevolent, loving, kind, supportive, and fair-minded in the way we treat ourselves and others. Why? Meditation can be tremendously calming and has much vaunted emotional and mental health effects, and all sorts of other physical and social benefits. But more important than this, in this context, is that meditation opens you up. So what does it open you up? That very much depends on what you're meditating upon and to what purpose. I developed this particular meditation specifically to help soothe those parts of you which may be stuck in past or present grief and feeling fearful, overwhelmed, or hateful. With time and repetition, this practice will help you compost any grief which feels stuck or toxic to you, slowly allowing it to be expressed through sorrow and discovering beneath it a deep, embedded sense of love and compassion for yourself and all others. Maybe you aren't aware of any grief, nor feeling fearful, overwhelmed, or hateful today. This meditation will still be of great benefit to you. It's designed as a gentle entry into the rest of the practice, and as such, it will always be safe, however you approach it. Meditation is noticing. Notice what you notice when you practice it. There is magic to be found within, among, and through everything. As you regularly repeat this meditation, you'll start to notice opportunities for compassion, care, community, and kindness visiting you in all sorts of situations where they previously seemed invisible. Embrace them, listen, learn, be changed for the better. How? As with all the practices, practice regularly. Follow the instructions, Relax. There's a reason this meditation starts with you opening up to kindness to yourself. Take your time. If you're tight for time and only have 10 minutes for the 5 practices, take 3 minutes for the meditation, as the other practices are shorter. A lot of magic can happen in that time. Take what you notice in this meditation out into your everyday life. Be still and let the stillness speak to and through you. Let it transform you. The universe is singing you a love song every moment of every day. Are you listening? You're invited to join in, to let your life be a song, harmonious and healing. Start with this simple practice each day. Advocacy. What? Advocacy is the ancient art and act of speaking up in solidarity with another person. It is employed most effectively where people request help amplifying their perspective as their voice is not being heard, understood, or respected. We start with self-advocacy. There are parts of you which need to be heard. Hear the rich harmonies of the multitude of voices within you and listen to those voices among and within you. Then provide non-judgmental, loving kindness, support, and encouragement in response to them. In this way, you will learn advocacy for yourself. The magic of advocacy happens when you put aside your knowing mind, listen to the need, and respond in solidarity. Just as the metta meditation with practice will open up broad swathes of your consciousness to new ways of seeing yourself, your connections, and the entire planet, so this practice of self-advocacy will transform the details of your everyday experiences and your responses to them, and empower you in the process to discover your ability to create magic in everything. By taking the time to both listen and thoughtfully and kindly respond, you will shine a spotlight both on those thoughts and actions that are already kind, supportive, and healthy, and those thoughts and actions, intentions which aren't yet serving you or others, but which now have the space to be led down new paths to a place where they can contribute to the greater good. Why? Advocacy is a powerful tool for world changing. It's extremely effective in our own internal world of thoughts, emotions, sense impressions, and reflections. As you become adept at listening to and supporting yourself, this will help you in really hearing and supporting others in the context of group, collective, and social settings. Across the years that I've helped and supported people through coaching, this single skill, self-advocacy, regularly applied, has been the biggest predictor of success in seeing breakthroughs in people's lives. Self-advocacy allows for the multitude of voices that make up your thoughts to be heard and gently directed towards harmony. Self-advocacy will support you in embodiment, grounding, and connection to yourself, others, and the vast web of life that sustains our planet. Perhaps most importantly, the practice of self-advocacy. Start again. Perhaps most importantly, the practice of self-advocacy will provide you with massive new insights and inspiration into how much simpler and more effective your life is becoming as you use this and the other practices to unknot the self-sabotaging distortions that have kept you small, divided, and wasting energy on attitudes and actions which cannot help you. Moreover, it will help simply guide you into what will seem like obvious truths time after time, even in complex situations. How? This exercise is incredibly simple and will yield the best results when you remember that it's an exercise of 2 distinct parts. In the first part, you will honestly, without self-censorship, pour out what's happening in your body and in your world, how you're feeling about it, and what's on your mind. Allow all the voices among you to speak and write down what they're saying. Then pause, take a breath, and as the prompt says, imagine if a friend shared these thoughts with you. How would you respond kindly and with encouragement? Write your response in the second orange box. Take these words to heart. Let them be your new truth. This is where the magic happens, in the honesty and the compassionate response. Wisdom is found through these two. As with metta, please practice with confident and expansive care for yourself, but don't stop there. Please take what you learn through this practice and apply it in listening to and working alongside those who desperately need your solidarity and support and your voice in the world. Gratitude. What? Gratitude is the simple act of being grateful. You already know this. As with each of these practices, you have an innate intuitive understanding of what these things are, and almost certainly already practice them to some degree in your everyday life. The transformation happens when you give these practices and yourselves the gift of relaxed, immersive focus, giving yourself permission to really bathe, luxuriate, absorb, and delight in them. Give them the attention they deserve, and each practice will come to life and imbue your life with the depth, richness, and joyous power that you may have never even imagined before. In this way, the practice of gratitude transmutes from being a civility, a politeness, a social expectation, a duty, dull even, to becoming a deep, generative, life-giving, life-affirming explosion every time. Attention transforms. Why? To be grateful is to rediscover joy. Joy is the bedrock of well-feeling and the fuel of encouragement, internal strength, resilience, and resourcefulness. Joy is the opposite of discouragement. Joy strengthens, informs, transforms, inspires, and gives you the moral strength to face the day. When you're grateful for something, when you enjoy something, when you infuse it with joy, you naturally and magically find the good in it, even if it's hidden within a terrible situation. Gratitude is an act of fierce reimagining, resilience, and resistance to all the naysayers who would rob you of that joy. Another world is possible. Another world is on its way. Quite aside from the thing or event itself, in noticing the good through the practice of gratitude, we multiply joy. When we then share this joy with others, verbally or through actions, we multiply the joy again. In this way, one seemingly insignificant seed, a seeing in a new way, a moment of gratitude, can spawn vast forests of radiant, resilient perspectives and practices, both through us and beyond us, beyond our borders, beyond our knowledge, even beyond our lifetimes. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds, attributed to the Greek poet Dinos Christianopoulos. How? Simply stop and notice what comes to mind. What does your mind suggest to you? Where's the joy in that? This resilient, encouraging strength is to be found in everything. If you'll relax your mind and wait for a few short moments, the gratitude will appear. So don't discount anything that comes to mind. Give it space and find the joy. As we're so conditioned to associate gratitude with happiness or simple pleasures, you may often find that you're grateful for a good meal, the company of friends, or a job well done. These are all well and good and can definitely be noted down. But also be ready to notice the shocking suggestion for something you might be grateful for. The sharp, bitter opposition or challenge that feels too painful to even consider as a place of gratitude. When your mind produces such a suggestion, allow yourself a moment of grace and courage, the opportunity to grow larger in your vision, and imagine where you might find gratitude in such awful surroundings. This simple openness to gratitude, even in challenges, can set your world on fire and revolutionize your life in that one moment. Remember, gratitude is an explosive force for positive, practical, real-life change. Intentions. What? Intentions are a weapon bandied about by many warring parties. Firstly, those who believe in the grind and hustle, destroying personal and planetary relationships as they go, enamored by the lies of the ruling classes that anyone can make it, whatever it is, as long as they burn all for mammon. Then there are those who've decided that privilege is too heavy a burden to do anything useful or practical with, and have decided to opt out of any meaningful social action by attending to their own personal wellness while watching the world burn, occasionally offering thoughts and prayers. And finally, there are those who are so hurt by the injustice of life that they refuse all and any help, as all they can think about are the clandestine reasons and motivations for others seeking to help or interact with them in any way. I don't trust them. What are their intentions? When I speak of intentions, none of these are my intention. Pun accepted. Intentions are your choices made to and for yourself for the purpose of navigating your way through this life, this year, this month, today. They don't relate to specific actions that you take. Rather, they're the compass you use and the specific moral and spiritual qualities that you consciously abide by today to chart your course. What will you practically focus on? What thoughts and ideas will you center? What attitudes will you practice? How will you use your emotions and perspectives to change the world that you want to see? How will you use your emotions and perspectives to shape the world that you want to see? Why? Your perspective, where you focus, and how you think and feel about things, all are continually being shaped by other parties, by the culture at large, which is largely a reflection of whatever those in power want you to think about and focus on, by amoral advertisers, greedy media barons, self-serving political conglomerates, people who are responsible for some of the most demoralizing, anti-human and anti-planet propaganda ever to disgrace our minds. Then there are all the second-hand opinions and passed-on pieces of dead wisdom that really aren't that helpful at all, and are often the softened, twice-digested propaganda of yesteryear, regurgitated as cold comfort for you. What will the neighbours think? Charity begins at home. It's a hopeless cause. You can't help everyone, etc. Finally, there are your own unexamined let's try that again. Finally, there are your own unexamined animal reflexes born out of pain, disappointment, and fear that would cause you to sabotage your best self and live small, helpless, and disempowered. Your intentions are the remedy for each of these. Consider what qualities and perspectives you want in your world and why. Then choose to focus on these things today. You can and will create a new world for yourself as you do this consistently day by day. Art is made great by its ability to speak aesthetically, morally, spiritually, and by what it reveals to the recipients about themselves and the world around them. In the same way, you have the power to recreate your life as a work of art, not for the sake of vanity, but the sake of humanity, yours and ours. Your intentions are an essential part of this. Intentions are the raw ingredients for action. Thoughtless, fearful, or reactionary action is rarely effective, and certainly not healthy or sustainable in the fullest sense of these words. Your intentions are a promise to yourself that you're going to do right and live by your own best values today, as far as is humanly possible. It doesn't matter if you've never done this before. It's never too late. Recreate today. How? As with each of the other practices, the skill is in accepting the simplicity of the practice, committing to it, leaning into it, and trusting that it will make a practical difference in your life today. Avoid specific actions. That's what commitments, the next section's for. Here you're choosing specific qualities that will help you live as you wish today. So I choose kindness, for example, or confidence, calm, care, mercy, patience, clarity, strength, joy, connection, etc. Commitments, the final principle. What? Intentions require choice, whereas commitments use the palette of these choices to create and affect change in our lives and beyond. To commit is to decide on a specific action or course of actions, then faithfully stick with it until the actions are completed, or you alter course towards a better course of actions. Why? Excuse me. You already know why commitments are so important. Some of our biggest heartaches are from when those we trust or trusted fail to keep their commitments, whether a friend, family member, political party, or some other group. Commitments are the foundation of conscious change. They are what gets us from A to B. The decision to get out of bed, to attend to our hygiene, to go to school, to pursue a particular goal. Once our thoughts move from general perspective to focused action, we then need to employ commitment to get the job done. How? You'll notice in this section the prompt changes from I choose, that was the prompt in intentions within the actual magic diary that we'll get to in a minute, to I will, commitments. I'm going to keep this really simple. Write down 3 tiny things that you will do today. Not that you may do, but that you will. Then make sure you do them, or you'll need a very good reason for not doing them. The key is to keep each day's actions simple, doable, and serving your greater goals. It's as simple as that. Thoughtful and consistent action has a magic all of its own. Commit, discover what you can achieve. It may not look like much today, but do this consistently and conscientiously for 30 days in a row, and you'll be genuinely shocked with how much your world has changed. Okay, the next page has some FAQs on. Is there an audio version of this? Yes, you're listening to it. You can go to getresults.co to get a link to it as well. Number 2, in the principles you write about allowing grief and letting it work through you. This sounds like therapy to me, is it? It is therapeutic in the same way that laughing with a friend or crying or a good run or scream can be therapeutic, but I'm not a therapist and nothing in the diary is an official therapy practice. If you need more, seek out the tools and people that you need to heal. Number 3, I'm skeptical that this will work for me. The proof is in the practice. Give it 30 days of consistent application and message me if you're still skeptical. Number 4, why is the diary, which we'll come to on after the FAQs, only 2 pages? What about the rest of the year? It's the magic diary, sweetie. It will magically refresh each time you open it. If it doesn't, just overwrite. So basically, it's just a PDF with fillable parts in it, and each time you open it again, it will be blank. Is there a way of saving what I write? Yeah, you can either copy and paste to somewhere else. You can take a screenshot, photograph, save as a new document, or write it out manually. The meta feels really tough. I don't like the language. Feel free to write your own or adapt this one. It is challenging to genuinely say, may we love and be loved about those we find difficult, but that's part of the magic. It grows the heart, the mind, and the soul. Number 7, I'm finding the self-advocacy tough. I don't know what to say to myself. It's okay, you've got this. You already talk to yourself each day. Much of this self-talk is unconscious, unkind, and unhelpful. You can do better. Put your ego, your sense of self, aside for a moment. Imagine a dear friend sent you that message, whatever you've written. If you had to respond to that, what would be the kindest, most encouraging thing you could write? Write that, read it back, and then repeat the same thing again tomorrow. You have all the wisdom you need. And honestly, doing this exercise alone will change your life. Once you start extending the same kindness and encouragement and grace to yourself that you do to other people and believing it, it will absolutely transform your life. Number 8, can I really be grateful for anything? Why not try it and find out? And yes, even in despair, disgust, and defeat, there are beautiful treasures hidden, waiting to be discovered. Number 9, so intentions are things like, I choose not to take the bait if Roy tries to wind me up today. Yes. I'd also encourage you to phrase these positively and to extend them throughout your day where possible. So, for example, with the example that you just gave, which was I choose not to take the bait if Roy tries to wind me up today. I'll rest in confident calm today, even if Roy tries to wind me up. Number 10, I was expecting something more occultic. By all means, use whatever practices are good for you and the rest of us. But I assure you that if you come to the practice for the next 30 days, willing to relax and apply yourself to these practices, you will access transformative realms in your actual daily lived experience, and you will see magical changes for the better. 11, have you written anything else? I'm working on another booklet with the working title, A Song for All Seasons, Communal Celebration and Collective Liberation. It's a manifesto and practical how-to for hosting monthly feasts as a way of doing emancipatory politics and sustainable mutual care. Expect it sometime in 2024. There'll be more on the website once it's done, and that's getresults.co again. Do you have an Insta? Number 12. Yep, it's queer.lifecoaching. That's it, at Insta, obviously. Okay, so the practice, which is made up of the 5 smaller practices of meditation, advocacy, gratitude, intentions, and commitment. So what I'm going to do for this bit is there's a little reminder, and then I'm going to actually read through the 2 pages, and feel free to stop the video, stop the recording, to do it yourself if you want. If you can use the PDF, I definitely recommend it. Available free at getresults.co, because actually writing it down is an amazing way to see inside yourself in a way that you don't do when you just think about things, or you just kind of mull over things. Actually writing them down is transformative in itself as well. Okay. But before we get to that, there's a reminder. So here's the reminder. This is sacred, magical work that you're doing. It's the work of self-healing, world growing, transforming your perspectives and practices to better serve yourself and others. It may not take much of your time. So obviously most days you're not going to read through all this or listen to all this. You're just going to do the practice, which is on the next page, which is 10 to 15 minutes daily for most people. But it will create profound positive effects on your life and the lives of those who you interact with over time. Take your time with it. Don't rush into it or through it. Relax. Allow yourself to open up, mind, body, and soul. Let this be a meaningful time for you, not just something to get done before the busyness of the day. Allow your mind to expand, play, riff with the ideas, thoughts, and feelings that come up for you each day. What are you seeing? What patterns are you noticing? Where could you take a risk and try something bigger? Magic practiced solely for the self is weak magic. It can be interesting, but holds no lasting social value. You can do so much more. As you learn and grow, consider how you can use these skills and perspectives to practically contribute to a kinder, fairer world. You don't have to do much, but I hope you do what you can. Okay, on to the practice. So again, I'm going to read these things through. As I say, you may want to pause at some point in order to interact with it yourself if this is your main or only way of interacting, i.e. you're not using the writable PDF. Okay, so meditation. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Allow your breath and body to relax. In your mind's eye, extend goodwill and loving kindness to whoever comes to mind, near or far. Slowly and deliberately allow these words as you say them. As I hold myself here, I bring to mind myself and all those I love. May we love and be loved. May we move with joy. May we do justice. May we share the power of kindness. May we know peace. Again, as I hold myself here, I bring to mind those whose attitudes and actions I find difficult. May we love and be loved. May we move with joy. May we do justice. May we share the power of kindness. May we know peace. And finally, as I hold myself here, I bring to mind all the people of this world and all creatures everywhere. May we love and be loved. May we move with joy. May we do justice. May we share the power of kindness. May we know peace. Advocacy. So here there's a prompt, a question for you to respond to by writing, ideally, or certainly speaking out and recording somehow your thoughts, how you're feeling about the day ahead, this moment itself, your relationships, what's happening in the world, your challenges. Be honest, vulnerable, pour your heart out. This is just for you. So here you may want to pause the video for a moment. So I'm going to move on to the next bit. If a friend shared these thoughts with me, my kind and encouraging response would be, I'm going to read that again. If a friend shared these thoughts with me, my kind and encouraging response would be. So do that now. Write down or note however you're noting outside of your mind through speech or whatever tool you're using. What your kind and encouraging response would be to the words that you've just written or spoken. And again, you may want to pause to give yourself some time to do that. So I'm going to be moving on. So your response, what you've just created there, take these kind and encouraging words to heart. They're as true for you as anyone else. The next practice is gratitude. Really lovely, simple one, this one. Just listening and waiting for 3 things. What 3 things are you grateful for today? And why are you grateful for them? And again here, remember to be open to things that may not appear to be, in quotes, good things to begin with, may even be challenging or awful things. But if your mind presents them to you as a possible source of gratitude, just wait and look at them, see what comes up. See if you can find some joy in there. And it may be the joy of your own response to them, the way in which you are able to deal with this, or it may be the joy of someone else's support for you, or something else. Again, I'm going to encourage you to pause here and give yourself time to think about the 3 things that you're grateful for today and why you're grateful for them. And don't just think about them, note them down. Okay, the next section is intentions. What 3 intentions do you choose for today in terms of your focus, your thoughts, attitudes, moods, and perspectives? So don't write actions here, that's the next section. Here you're thinking about those qualities that are going to guide you through today. Peace, love, kindness, patience, strength, boldness, whatever it may be. Okay, and each of these begins with I choose. And you can write a single word if you want, or you can write something more, something longer. So what 3 intentions do you choose for today in terms of your focus, your thoughts, attitudes, moods, and perspectives? Don't write actions here. That's for the next section. And the final section, commitments. What 3 tiny actions will you take today to gently move towards your goals, to become who you want to be, and to positively affect the wider world? So the actions don't need to encompass all of that, but those are the kind of areas to be thinking about. And these actions start with the words I will, and then there's space for you to write or speak your truth, your specific actions that you are committing to today. So I'll read that again. What 3 tiny actions will you take today to gently to move to, let's start again. What 3 tiny actions will you take today to gently move towards your goals, to become who you want to be, and to positively affect the wider world? Commit to doing each of these today. And you've got I will, I will, I will. And the specific actions you're committing to. And that's it, you're done. Have a magic day. So there are just a couple of sections after the main practice, which I wrote as a kind of postscript. And I think if this is your first time listening to this, it's definitely worth, just take a couple of minutes to listen to these last sections. And I hope you find some value in them. So this is a wish and a request. My wish for you this day and every day is that you will love and receive love, that you will move with and within joy, that you will know justice, that you will share the power of kindness, and that you will live in peace. We're all on a journey, individually and collectively as a species. We're traveling on this amazing ball of earth and water spinning around the sun, which in turn is spinning around the delightfully named Milky Way galaxy. Our Earth is only one of over 400 billion planets in our galaxy, the Milky Way, which itself is a tiny part of our universe. Moving out, the Milky Way, along with a small cluster of other galaxies, is part of the also beautifully named Local Group. The Local Group is roughly 100 times the size of the Milky Way galaxy and has a diameter of about 10 million light years, or about 60 quadrillion miles. The Local Group is part of the Virgo supercluster, which is about 100 million light years in diameter and holds over 100 other galaxies, each with billions of suns, moons, stars, and habitable planets. Beyond this, there are unknowably huge numbers of suns, moons, stars, livable planets, and who knows what else in our universe. Within this vast pantheon of beauty, our planet spins through space at around 1,340,000 miles per hour. I think I got that right. Basically 1.34 million miles per hour. Even while here on this tiny, amazing orb, our time is so short compared to many other plants, fish, and animals who share our planet with us. For example, there are many trees around the world whose lifespans stretch over hundreds and thousands of years. By comparison, most of us will live in our little bodies for less than 100 rotations of the sun. So cosmically, we appear to be fairly insignificant. We're not located at the center of the universe, our galaxy, or even our local solar system. Earth is one among countless trillions of habitable planets in the universe, most of which humanity will never discover. Most likely, I don't know. And even here, us humans don't live as long as many of the species of animals, fish, and plants with whom we share this gorgeous planet we call home. We're short-lived, imperfect, messy. We're a work in progress, but brief, cosmically insignificant, and messy as our lives are, they are. We're here, we're alive, and we've got work to do. Songs to sing, lives to live, loves to share today. So let's make the most of our time here. My one request to you is if this diary served you or is serving you, please share it with a friend or colleague or anywhere where you think it will be of help. And if there's anything else I can do to serve and support you in your journey, please do get in touch. All my love, Jazz, December 2023. And there's one final note. I thought the booklet was finished. I'd read through it a dozen times, and I've been using it daily in its current form for weeks. All good. However, something remained, a slight disquiet, an unrest, an energy that there was something more to say. And on this, the last Friday of the year, it's come to me. The it is very simple. If you take nothing else away from this booklet, my heartfelt hope is this, that you please give yourself sufficient time and space each day. Time and space to be, time and space to heal, time and space to grow, time and space to listen, time and space to love, time and space for your soul to breathe. When I first started writing, I didn't know that the subtitle was going to be 10 minutes to transform your world. It's a good subtitle, short, snappy, succinct, does what it says. However, it's a compromise that I wish weren't necessary for anyone at all. To expect to tend to matters of the soul for only 10 minutes of any given day seems like a woefully small amount, considering how central this is to your experience of the rest of your life. But we start where we are. You and I are works in progress, part of the ongoing unfolding of our wonderful universe. At this time on Earth, for much of the planet, there is an obsession with productivity, with mindless, frantic doing for the sake of doing, squeezing as much work, rest, and play as possible into each and every day. Yes, we know it's one of the many unfortunate products of late-stage hypercapitalism, but still it sucks. Literally, it sucks the presence and beauty and meaning out of so many of our everyday momentary experiences. So yes, you're going to be busy, quite possibly, most days that you do the practice. Resist the urge to do everything. Instead, make time for the right things. How will you know what these are? Listen. During the practice, listen. You'll learn. The wisdom's there. You already know. Err on the side of slow, worthwhile, and meaningful, whatever you're doing. This is the true purpose of the Magic Diary, to create ongoing, sustainable, beneficial, exponential change throughout your life and beyond. This takes time, in fact, a lifetime of change, but is so, so worth it. Open up your heart, mind, and soul to the possibility of illumination, love, healing, radical change, all appearing at points throughout every normal day from now on. While traveling, at work, doing chores, on your own, with friends, wherever you are. The Magic Diary can plant the seeds, but it is you, through your blossoming awareness, who will cause them to grow.